So, once again, it's been a while since I've gotten in front of the camera. The last vlog I posted was back in December. I kind of explained a bit about where I've been for the last, or where I had been for the last 6 months. I explained that I've been living in northern Alberta. For the summer I had been working for a construction company, and for the last, since November basically, I've been a truck driver. So it hasn't left me really any time for modeling. Certainly no time for video making. So I do apologize for that. And unfortunately this is not going to be like the first in a new series, or, you know, my triumphant return to YouTube after months away. Because I'm not going to be home for very long. A few weeks, couple months at the most. I do hope to get some modeling done, but nothing on the scale of, you know, what I've previously done. So, well, as long as we're talking, I'll tell you a little bit about where I was and what I was doing. I was living in a town in northern Alberta, about 2 hours northeast of Edmonton, a town called Lac La Biche. About 3,000 people, maybe, in the town itself. Probably about 1,000 people in the surrounding greater Lac La Biche area. So really not much in the way of population or really anything to do. The town has 1 street, 2 traffic lights. That's really about it. There are a few restaurants, a couple shops, couple gas stations. Nothing in the way of amenities to which I've become accustomed. You know, I mean, I'm not saying I've grown up in the biggest town out there. I mean, I'm from Victoria. We've got, I think, 250,000 people in the greater Victoria area, which, you know, it's a significant number, but it's nothing like Vancouver or Edmonton or Seattle, New York, Los Angeles, the cities with millions of people. But at least, like, any service, any amenity you might want or need, you can find in Victoria, or if not within the city, within a short enough drive, you know, an hour or two. From Lac La Biche, yeah, like the closest major city is Edmonton, and it's a 2 to 2.5 hour drive away. In the wintertime, that can stretch out to almost 3 hours just because of the weather. It's northern Alberta, you know, the winter there is 8 months long. I just checked the weather report, and it says they're expecting another 2 inches of snow tomorrow. It's the middle of April, for God's sake, and they're still getting freaking snow. It's ridiculous. So yeah, it's been a harrowing few months for me as a novice truck driver, basically cutting my teeth driving on ice. So yeah, every day was an adventure, so the saying goes. But you know, the job just dried up. The work that they do, it's half freight, half oil field. So in the wintertime, the oil field guys are all busy. In the summertime, the oil field guys all transition over to freight, or they take a layoff for a, you know, a summer holiday. So all the guys who are senior to me who work in the oil field end of things, if they don't take that layoff, they move over to freight, which kicks me out of my job. So I took a layoff for the summer. So the schedule I worked was Monday to Saturday. Yeah, 6-day weeks are not a lot of fun either. It was hard, very, very hard. Mondays were usually easy, Saturdays were usually easier, but like Mondays, it's a quiet day. There's really no freight moving on Mondays. Saturdays, there's not a lot of freight moving. Tuesday through Friday are the busy days. Tuesday especially is usually the busiest day. So yeah, you're run off your feet pretty much for most of the middle of the week, and then you know you're off Sunday most of the time. Once in a while, yeah, I did have to work Sundays, and working a 13-day week was, wow, I don't ever want to do that again. Especially if you're only getting one day off. You know, it is what it is. It was a job. It paid me okay. You know, the pay wasn't amazing or anything, but it was good. For a you know, as I said, I'm a novice truck driver. This is my first job driving truck, so it's not that surprising that I don't warrant the big bucks. So, you know, I have no right to complain about how I was treated. They treated me great. You know, they gave me a roof over my head. They had their own small, but it was there. It was a work camp. Had about a dozen rooms in it. Room for, in theory, each room has space for 3 people, but they're not very big. I've got a couple of pictures I took of my room, which is not the normal floor plan, but each room has a single bed and then 2 single bunk beds on the other wall. So in theory, each room is capable of housing 3 people. But in the whole complex, the top bunk of each room is just storage. So no one ever has to worry about being roomed with more than 1 person. I lucked out, and in my room, the second bed actually is broken. So my room was designated a single. So the whole time I was there, I never had to worry about sharing a room. But, you know, it's small enough as it is, so it would have been hard to share, because I need my space. Because, like, I had my little TV, I had my Xbox, my PlayStation, my computer, I had, you know, a bunch of other stuff stashed away in the closets. Plus, I collect. You know, it's what I do. I didn't have a lot of time or resources to do it there, but I did. I did a little bit of collecting. I even tried to do a little bit of modeling. Couple of Gundam kits. It took me ages to find a shop in Edmonton. I would go down once in a while on the weekends. It took me ages to find a shop in Edmonton that even sold Gundam and anime models. But I finally found one in West Edmonton Mall. It's called Comex Hobby. And I picked up a couple of models there. First off is from Gundam Wing, one of my favorite mecha designs from the 90s, the Gundam Epion. This is the Master Grade kit. Came out last year, I think, sometime in the middle of last year. It's a really nice kit. Very well engineered, fully transformable. The wings are posable. They've got you know, little pop-out segments. Legs are very well jointed, like multi-jointed, in addition to just double-jointed knees. And then the segmented heat rod. It's a neat kit. I haven't transformed it because I'm not into transforming, you know, Gundam mecha, which is weird because I'm so into Transformers. But you know, mecha, like Gundam kits, they're very fragile and they never really lock together very well. So I'm always hesitant to want to transform them. But as it is, even in mobile suit mode, it's a really nice model, and I do recommend it. The other Gundam model that I picked up, I actually wasn't able to find this in stores, but I really wanted to get my hands on one, so I ordered it online. Is the Tall Geese, also from Gundam Wing. I'll admit, a little disappointed. A little bit disappointed in the construction and engineering of it. There's a lot of things about it I really, really dug. The booster pods on its back, they pop open. Let's just see if I can, there we go. You know, they pop open in unison, like so one side opens both. Which is really cool. I mean, I think they did that with the high-grade kit in the 90s or the early 2000s or something, but they didn't engineer it this well. And this is a really, really well done example of it. But there's other features about it that are really, really neat, like additional boosters under the rear skirt armor. They kind of flip open and closed. The way the boosters attach to the back, the way the cannon and shield attach to the shoulders, the head actually, you can pop the face off. It doesn't want to come off right now, but trust me, it does. But yeah, so somehow in here the head pops off. I can't remember how to do it, but so it's got some really neat ideas in the engineering, but the frame of it, you know, most modern Gundam kits are engineered primarily out of ABS plastic. For some reason, this one was done predominantly in styrene. So it's not as stable, it's not as solid. There's some things about it that I wish had been done differently, so it would have been a little bit more solid. But you know, really, I don't have a lot of complaints about it. It's one of my favorite mecha designs ever. Not just from the 90s, from Gundam Wing, but it's very unique, it's very different from any other mobile suit design really out there. So I'm really anxious for them to do the Tallgeese 2 and 3, because even in spite of my reservations about the design of the model, I really, really like the mecha, so I want to have all three versions of it. Especially the Tallgeese 3, because that royal blue on white with the new head and the new weapons is really attractive to me. And I really want to get my hands on one. They made some modifications to the color scheme for the Master Grade kit. I'm not sure why. In the show, the booster pods were always black with white highlights, and the whole mobile suit didn't have all of this yellow trim everywhere. But those are minor issues that could be fixed with simple repaint, which I may do. I may not. I'm not sure. Depends on whether I have the time. But it's a really nice kit. Again, in spite of my reservations about the engineering of it, it goes together really, really nice, and it makes a really fine display piece. So then there's that. And finally, the last one that I built when I was there. Actually, I think it was the first one that I built when I was there, but it's the last one I'm going to talk about. I was doing some research about the Metal Gear Solid games, and particularly Metal Gear Rex. I had the eponymous Metal Gear mecha from Metal Gear Solid, the first game, from 1998, I think. I discovered that there was a, I believe, 1/35th scale toy of Metal Gear Rex being made by a company called 3A. I believe the completed toy is about 2 feet tall. I know a couple of people online who have one. I haven't talked to them about it, but I hear it's amazing. Like, wow. This thing is it's staggeringly huge. Unfortunately, the price tag is also staggeringly huge. I believe the standard retail is between $500 and $600. So yeah, not only was that a little out of my price point, being that I was living where I was living, I would have had nowhere to put it. You know, when you're living in a room the size of a closet, when it would be pretty hard to find somewhere to put a giant mecha the size of a dog anywhere and display it. So yeah, I took a pass on that. I did, however, discover that Kotobukiya was launching a series of Metal Gear model kits, starting with Metal Gear Rex. Which is my favorite of the Metal Gears. Not that there's many to choose from, but Metal Gear Ray, too organic looking to me. I love Metal Gear Rex for being just this big chunky chunk of chunk. Like, it's just chunks on top of chunks, and weapons on top of weapons. And like, everything looks functional. Like, you can look at it and you can see this looks like something that would have been designed by the US military. There's like angular features that look like, you know, some part of a tank. Everything about it just looks fearsome and menacing and absurd, and like exactly like you would expect the Japanese inventing a bipedal walking tank for the US military would look. It's surprisingly posable. It's not very solid in places. Like, there's lots of little parts that tend to pop off. Like, it's got these spikes on the toes, these little gas canisters on the knees, doors all over for point defense for little missile pods that open up, these panels on the hips like to fall off. Little stuff all over the place is always falling off. A little bit of glue will help because it is primarily styrene, so a little bit of just, you know, your normal Tamiya bottle glue, like the thin formula, will hold this together great. I need to do that. But it's all snap fit, it's all molded in color, so you can just do it up and display it like this, as I have done, because I didn't have anywhere to paint or any means to paint it with. But it's a really nice kit. I finished this in about 4 hours. It comes with the display stand, which has a little tripod here to keep it on its feet. Its feet, which are very small. There's about 3 square inches of surface contact, and the thing is very back heavy, so yeah, you're gonna need a stand. But it was a lot of fun to build this. And Kotobukiya, they impressed me absolutely with their engineering of this. In spite of my dislike of the Metal Gear Ray, I'm probably still going to get one when it comes out, just so I'll have something to display this with. Actually, as an additional point to mention, the display stand, the base has these notched little hooks, so this base can slot together with other bases, so that you can you know, display them together, which will be cool when the rest of them come out. Because I don't know if they're just going to do Ray, or if maybe they're going to do the Shagohod or anything else from Metal Gear. But it'd be nice to you know, have, you know, a whole bunch of Metal Gear mecha on display all together. Ray actually would be a great idea for them to do. I know I'm very certain that they are doing it, but there's like 3 different versions of Ray. There's the, you know, the prototype from the beginning of Metal Gear Solid 2, then there's the mass-produced versions for Metal Gear Solid 2, and then there's, I think it got a redesign in MGS 4. So they could do, you know, re-release the same kit with new parts 3 times to, you know, cover the cost. Which Bandai does frequently, so, you know, that's one thing that Koto can do that they stole from that. In addition to that, though, I have been collecting just other odds and ends, weird, fun stuff that I happen to see. I've been going through a big Portal kick lately. I love the Portal games. The first one, I bought the orange box just for Portal. Then I bought it again on Xbox Live so I could have the extra challenge maps. And then when Portal 2 came out, I bought it first day, I beat it first day. I love those games. They're so much fun. The reason I bring it up, I love my companion cube. NECA, you came through. They knew exactly what the fans wanted. It's a little dirty. I brought it with me to Alberta and it got all dusty, so I need to wash it. In addition to that, there's also an action figure of Chell, the main character, who I picked up at a comic shop in West Edmonton Mall. Not the same one that I got the... It actually wasn't a comic shop, but it's more just of a collectible toy shop. But it's not the same one where I got my Gundam models from. But she's very, very cool. Very poseable. You can see she's got her fall arrest braces on her ankles. Her portal gun actually has an LED in it, so you can light it up, which is really, really cool. Like I said, she's very well poseable. She actually has a poseable ponytail. I actually just noticed that. That's hilarious. So you can pose her falling if you want, as the wind is blowing her ponytail up. But the sculpt is actually, the sculpt on her face is really quite beautiful. Apparently they modeled the character's face on the friend of one of the developers, but I always thought she looked like Jerry Ryan, who played 7 of 9 on Star Trek Voyager. But whatever. And finally, I just got this yesterday. My very own full-scale portal gun. I love this thing. I love this thing. Like I said, I just got it in the mail yesterday. I bought it from an online shop called Big Bad Toy Store. They had them on pre-order for like a year, and I nearly bought one like 6 months ago and canceled it because I just didn't have the money at the time. And then I bought one like 2 months later, and they have a service called Pile of Loot. So you can buy something, but they'll hold on to it for up to 6 months, and just so you can basically combine multiple orders and save on shipping. And believe me, I had a ton of stuff that they sent me just this week. This one, there was an earlier version of it that just did the orange and the blue. But this one actually represents the. This one can represent Chell's portal gun from the main game, or Atlas and Peabody's portal gun from the multiplayer, which I unfortunately have not played. But they have different colored portals because there's 2 guns that can produce 4 different colors. So you've got your one character has blue and purple, the other character has red and orange, whereas Chell has blue and orange. It just changes the color of the LEDs that light up the mechanism. It doesn't change the sound effects or anything else, but this thing was so cool. And I've seen these things in stores for over $300. I paid less than $100 for this, so I think I just got a steal. So I don't know if they're still there, but if you want one, they're on Big Bad Toy Store. That's where I got mine. So yeah, there's that. There's a few other odds and ends that I bought, some gun parts, some paintball stuff, but that's not why you're here. I'm not going to be talking too much about firearms or paintball on this channel anymore, because it's not what you're here for. You know, this is face model. It's not face guns or face paintball. Though that's not a bad idea. Maybe I should launch a new channel. Whatever. Anyway, the main reason I wanted to get on camera today is because I just picked this up today. I was talking about doing an unboxing review of this thing back in December. I was hoping the hobby shop would get them in when I was here over Christmas, but they didn't. They didn't come in until a couple of weeks after. I didn't get a chance to pick one up. I was in there today, I saw them, I said, that is mine. And now it is mine. Damn, that's a big box. Yes. I don't know when I'm ever going to get a chance to build it. The last big enterprise like this I did took me 6 months. Though, in my defense, that was the Enterprise A, which has a much more complicated paint scheme, and the lighting system was entirely custom. This is a simpler ship with a simpler paint job, and there's an option kit that has all the lights, all the accessories that you can possibly need. Extra photo etch, little motors to run the lights inside the Bassard collectors and the nacelle caps. Anything you could need to make this thing just an absolutely beautiful model. Short of the paints and the, skill to actually do it justice. But it's, I haven't opened it up. This is actually still in the shrink wrap. So this is going to be a first time unboxing on camera. I have not looked at the contents of this thing yet. So you're going to see it at the same time that I do. Assuming that you haven't already, seen the other half dozen or more unboxing videos that are already out there on YouTube. I do know that Model Man Tom, he got an early sample of this kit, like 3-4 months before it came out, and did like a 12-part, 3-hour cast of thousands epic unboxing review of this thing, and I haven't had a chance to watch it all because it's just so damn long. And Jesus, up north I barely had internet, so anyway, I'm gonna cut here, and then we'll come back and we'll take a look at this thing.